Well, it's another quick fix in the field. My little Honda 2000i generator wouldn't start. It kicked over a couple times, so it was running fine, and then it just stopped. So we know what that problem is, right? It's the orifice again. It's a little bit different setup, but it's a generator, and this is a standard problem. I've had it happen to me a couple times over the years. We've had this generator since like 2003, so it's almost 10 years old. And I took it apart and saw that that's what it was. I wanted to make sure first. I didn't think about filming it, and so here it is. So we're going to put it back together. Okay, I'll show you what's going on. Okay, here's the orifice. It's all clean. I didn't have a needle, so I just blew it out. Just put it in my mouth. And I blew it back out the other end. Okay, that's all I did. And I went ahead and I blew out up into here. The needle valve goes into the carburetor. The orifice goes into the carburetor. I'm just going to set this in here. Okay, and then I've got my little handy dandy screwdriver. I didn't have my choice of the ones that I have at the house. This one worked fine. So make sure it's lined up. Tighten it back up. And this is really easy. The way the Honda is made to pull apart, even this little generator, you really can't go wrong with just fixing it yourself. There's no sense in taking it in just to have a little orifice cleaned out. And that's that. Okay. Now I want to get a towel here, a clean one. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a little bit of grit around the top of the gasket. I don't want that falling in. And I put a can down here. I still can't see it, huh? Anyway, I put a tin can down here to catch the gas when I drain the gas out. So, this is field work, so this is how it goes. See, I'm just pulling the stuff away from the top. So I want it clean. I don't want anything falling in there. Okay, that's good enough. But, this motor is really old. This is the first time I've ever pulled the carburetor off myself. So I want it to be clean, or clean enough when I put it back together. I want to take no chances with anything being able to go in there. Okay. So, alright, from my bowl, it was really full of gunk, and I already wiped it out. And I don't even know if it's going to start yet. We're just going to put it back together and see if it starts up. I'm sure it will. But, anyway. Yeah, I should pull this out too and clean this out. So I'm going to pull the drain out of here. Clean it out too. Clean it out really good. Just has a little O-ring, on the back side here, and a little needle valve on the top, and that's all it does to drain your gas out. So I'm just going to wipe off the needle. I'll set it down here where it's safe on my little table. Take a look at this. Yeah, it looks pretty crusty, man. Even still right now. You can see it still looks pretty nasty. It's just a drain, so it really doesn't matter. But I'm just going to take this screwdriver right here and just use it like a cleaning bit. Focus. You can see how much came out of there, quite a bit. I'll do that again. I'm going to back this off though because it's not working too hot. The other way, obviously. So all I did was take the screwdriver bit, the Phillips head, put it in this little hole, and just twist it. Then it just pulls the stuff out on its own. Okay, last time it was full. This time it wasn't. It's not that big a deal. Because basically it's saying that we're clean. Yeah, nothing like being out here in the field doing this stuff. Okay. Okay, we're all good there. Needle valve's all clean. I'm going to put the needle valve back. All this is a needle that just goes in there, and it goes in there so far. Extra little drain valve here. You know, I end up doing pretty much all my own stuff out in the woods, and you know, it's just not that big a deal. Just make sure it's tight. It's got an O-ring seal, cleaned out. The O-ring fits up into here. You'll see it, you can't miss the spot. Fits right back in. Okay. A little bolt here. That needs to be wiped off too, so just clean this off real quick. At least, you know, you're seeing how easy it is to put back together. And I mean, you could take it apart on your own. I'm going to go through everything for you so you can see what's happening. Just to make life easy for you. You know, you don't have to, especially when you're out in the field and all of a sudden your generator stops running, you know, and you want to take a look at it. It's just as simple to put back together. And that's a 10 mil. And all you're going to be able to do is go hand tight. There's, you know, I don't got anything to hold on to, so it's tightening up towards hand tight. Make sure you don't break anything. So you don't want to over tighten it, you know, and take a chance of cracking the plastic, which I've done on, I like weed eaters and stuff, you know. So now these two holes right here, you know, I won't be able to see this back side again. I'm going to wipe it off here right now. They just fit right here, and it goes right onto your intake manifold. It comes all the way through. And it just sits back on there, and that's all there is to it. It just sits there. Nothing goes over the top of it until you put your air cleaner and everything else on. This is your choke right here, and of course closed. I'll zoom it in on that. So here's your open and close on your choke. Closed, open. We got it closed because we're working on it. I mean, obviously, right? Now, this gasket here is stuck on here. I don't see any real need to remove it. Everything else looks okay. Little breather. I have all my carburetor parts just sitting over here. And this is the breather tube. This is the breather tube right here. Here's your, once again, this is where you're going to clamp your 2 bolts onto. Out of your intake manifold is holding on the carburetor. So we're just going to stick this breather tube right here into this hole right here at the same time. We're putting these on. So I have the right hole. This little one goes down here. Excuse me. What's nice? Just snug them down. You don't want them too tight, but because it's the carburetor, you want them tight enough. I mean, if I had a torque wrench here, I would be using a torque wrench on these to get the precise torque, but I don't. Which is how it goes out in the bush. It's in my Hummer and I got my Honda down here today. Now what I do when I pull these out, I pull them out and lay them out exactly as they go back into these holes here. So this is how this came out. It's going to go right back in the same way. And this is how this came out. You can actually see where the bolt pushed in on this side, and this is your bottom for your intake. It's going to push it back in the same way. Okay. I was looking to see if there's a lock on here, and there's not. You just gotta put it back on. Screw it back in. And the breather tube was being a pain in the butt, so I thought I'd put everything else back in before I force this into place. And there it goes, right back into place. Alright, so that's it. I'll leave this off to start it up. Let's test it out, see if it runs. Turn this to on. Choke it up. Actually, choke is already on, huh? Isn't it? Turn it on. There we go. And that's it. That's as loud as this carburetor on this generator gets. Okay, that's the Honda EU 2000i inverter and generator. Back in action. Easy fix. Now all you guys can, do it yourself if you ever had a question. On taking this apart, just get into it. Just go ahead and just start pulling the bolts off. You'll see there's only, 3 bolts it was to take it off to get to the whatever it's called. What's it called again? The little thing with a hole in it? Oh yeah, orifice, that's right. Don't know why I can't remember that word. But anyway, yeah, these little generators are nice because that's it. That's as loud as they run, man, And so you can stick them out here in the woods and nobody can hear them. You can run them at night. I've ran them all night to charge my stuff up. And this has been nothing but just a beautiful, beautiful generator, the best generator I've ever had. This actually belongs to San Diego Jim. He gave it to me years and years ago after he got done dry washing and realizing that dry washing, is working without water and it's real dirty out there in the woods, and he'd much rather come up here. So we lived up here with this and used this to keep the motorhome running for many, many years, like 6 years, till they had us take it out of here this last year. And once again, this is Reed Lukens. I hope this helped you guys out. Watch the rest of my videos and click some thumbs up and have a good one.